JC Tickets provides first-class trips to Ravens road games, including airfare, 4-star hotels, game tickets, and cocktail parties. We also help provide great seating locations to all Ravens home games. JC Tickets, where the games begin. Visit us at jctickets.net.
Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, jctickets.net, Geico Insurance, Donaway Furniture, Ocean City Golf Club, RussellStreetReport.com, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Holiday Inn Express, the original Green Turtle, hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
Welcome back in. It is the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap show right here on Comcast Beach TV at Delmarva's Rock Radio 93.5 The Beach, broadcasting from the Ravens Room at the Blue Ox Bar and Grill in Ocean City with Ravens fans and, of course, Ravens News 44. Another round of applause. Yeah. Where's our big rabble-rouser? Oh, there he is. There he is. There's our big rabble-rouser from 44. Mike Bradley, Tony Lombardi, Bruce Laird, and Bobby Vermillion. We want to thank the Green Turtle, Blue Ox Bar and Grill, Bud Light, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Geico, the Ocean City Golf Club, jctickets.net, Holiday Inn Express at Northside at OC, and of course the folks at Donaway Furniture, 130th Street. Give those folks a call at 410-250-5100. Sleep sofas for as low as $799 and durable microfiber fabric, which means that's really technical way of saying, hey, if you spill a little ketchup or mustard on it, you can get it out no problem. So give those folks a call, 130th Street, Coastal Highway.
Things, right?
Yeah, I do. I'm up on the latest fibers.
Yeah.
Hey, a couple things we wanted to talk about before we get into the upcoming game against the Houston Texans. 1 o'clock kickoff, pregame at 12:30 on 93.5 The Beach. And, of course, our program is heard on the radio every Sunday at 11 a.m. Make sure to check it out, 93.5 The Beach and WZBHRocks.com. First off, quickly, Joe Flacco appearing in a National McDonald's commercial with Colin Kaepernick, both quarterbacks, from Super Bowl 47. It's got me all choked up. I thought it was a creative commercial. It was pretty funny. I don't know if the folks here have seen it or not yet.
Yeah, it was fun. You know, they emulated the Larry Bird, Michael Jordan theme from years ago, I guess the late 90s, with, off the side of the building, through the window, off the backboard, nothing but net kind of thing.
Right.
They did that with throwing passes, so it was a lot of fun. And the lights went out on the commercial, just like in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, what do you know? What do you know? Jim Harbaugh, he showed his head up again somewhere.
Not that again.
Yeah, so, and of course, Joe Flacco, congratulations. He is a dad now of 2 baby boys. So as Stan White said on the radio broadcast, maybe 20 years from now we'll be seeing videos of the Flacco brothers, not the Manning, or as compared to seeing the Manning brothers now, as we see the old videos that they're showing.
Well, did you hear what Jimmy Fallon said?
No, what's that?
He said that when the baby was born, the baby came out and said, "You weren't here for the Browns?"
That's right. God bless his wife, Dana. She was...
You missed my birth for the Browns?
Yeah, she was solo. She was solo in the birth. I'm sure she had people around her.
At one point, she wasn't solo.
Yeah, well, that's true. About 9 months before that, yeah. Well, hey, let's talk about the Browns for a second. So breaking news that came out before the start of this program. Running back Trent Richardson, who was a first-round draft pick out of the University of Alabama last year, traded to the Indianapolis Colts for a first-round draft pick for next year?
Yeah, it's true.
What message does that send? Wasn't he supposed
to be the back? It sends a really bad one to the fans of the Cleveland Browns, that's for sure. Both of them.
Is the writing on the wall already for Brandon Weeden that they need a quarterback, that they wanted to make sure they've got a additional pick for next year?
I mean, this is a young, well, not so much young, but I mean, because of his baseball situation. But this is a quarterback that needs a running game. I mean, this football team from the AFC North in Cleveland need to run the football. They have a player right there that can do that. I mean, this is tremendously shocking to me as a player that something can happen like that to a guy that you just mentioned, Mike, that was a third pick overall taken last year, a year ago. And something's going on there that we don't know, but I guarantee you,
desperation.
And my heart of heart, that coaching staff had no idea that was going down, or someone knows a lot more about Trent Richardson than we'll ever know.
Yeah. What do you think they'll give us for Ja Reed?
Yeah. I I don't know. Who's Ja Reed?
That's right. He's been
Our third-round pick who's been inactive for the last 2 weeks.
That's right. That's right. And we're keeping a center with a broken foot on the active roster. That's how much we think of Ja Reed. So.
I think it's interesting that Bobby Rainey is on the depth chart behind Trent Richardson. So, the Ravens cut him, and he looked pretty good in preseason as a special team guy. It kind of reminds you of a poor man's Ray Rice, but it's interesting. Is he going to be the guy in Cleveland now?
He's their
Willis
number one.
McGahee is in
And maybe
camp
Willis
or
McGahee
in Cleveland.
comes back.
Let's
So-
see. The line as of Wednesday, Minnesota hosting Cleveland was 5.5 Minnesota. I think that line just got a little higher. I better lock in my numbers with the Delaware State Lottery here soon with their sports betting. Wow. Unbelievable with that. Well,
For
the
informational purposes only.
Yeah,
in Maryland,
of
though,
course. Only in Maryland, information only. So the Browns are at 0-2 at this point, and maybe that had something to do with it. They're thinking about the future already. I don't know. Writing's on the wall for Brandon Weeden.
Tied with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, well, that's right, and that's my next point. Monday Night Football, Cincinnati defeats Pittsburgh 20-10 in that one. And look, we knew this was coming. That line was tentative. Offensive line was tentative at best anyway. Marquise Pouncey gets hurt. He's out for the year. No running game. No running back right now is hurt. Le'Veon Bell with the Liz Frank injury. They're hurting offensively. Defense still looks very good to me. They don't have depth. They don't have depth if somebody should go down, but that defense looks great, but the offense is woeful. They're 0-2. They've got the Bears Sunday night. Now, granted, that's at home. It's a pretty good Bears team so far who's 2-0. Could they go 0-3? That's unfathomable to me. You're going to have to see it to believe it. But bottom line is Ravens 1-1, Bengals 1-1, guys, and that's the two teams that we kind of expected to be fighting in this division anyway.
Well, you heard the joke, right? Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Owen.
Owen who?
0-2.
So that's where things stand right now in the AFC North. So, yeah.
It's hard to get past that one.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, Mike.
But all right, so let's move ahead. The Houston Texans upcoming game.
I will say one thing about that though. Don't count the Pittsburgh Steelers out. They're still the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they lost to Cincinnati in Cincinnati by 10. Their young tight end dropped the pass, fumbled that ball. That game could have been completely different. They could have won a game there on
Paulson.
the road, stole one. Yeah. So, you never know. They're still the Steelers. They got a good quarterback. So let's see what happens.
All right, let's move on. Houston Texans, 1 o'clock, M&T Bank Stadium. This is a team that's won 2 close games. They come back on the late Monday night game against San Diego. They win in overtime against Tennessee the other day. We know about them. They've got an outstanding offensive line with a running back, Arian Foster, Ben Tate, local kid, Snow Hill, Stephen Decatur, that is, and both outstanding backs, a good offensive line. Or their left tackle, Dwayne Brown, might be out of this game with turf toe, so that could be a big loss for them. Andre Johnson, one of the best. They get this kid Hopkins out of Clemson. They have Owen Daniels. This is a formidable offense, a very aggressive front seven, guys. This is going to be an uphill battle for both sides of the ball on Sunday.
They can come at you in a lot of different ways, and the two guys that worry me the most, I know you've got Hopkins and you've got Johnson on the outside, but I like the way our corners are playing right now. The guys that scare me the most are Arian Foster in the passing game, because we saw the kid, what was it, Iabanoya, whatever the heck his name was.
Ogabadiah,
I think. Him too. But,
I'm glad you guys are doing that.
But, he was wide open for a touchdown down the sideline at Cleveland. So Arian Foster worries me in the passing game, and Owen Daniels scares me a little bit too, because the Ravens have shown that they've had a tough time covering tight ends with their safeties.
Boys, I mean, it gets right back to what we're talking about, what happens week in, week out, especially the teams that have the running back weapons that Houston has. You're going to have to stop the running game first. And again, with these young linebackers, once you're kind of locked into trying to do that, the play action pass freezes them, opens the middle of our field. If Houston controls the line of scrimmage and moves us off the ball, which hasn't happened much, but if they're able to do that, they do it to a lot of teams, I think we're going to be in trouble, because that way the middle of the field are going to be open. Our young linebackers, other than Smith, just can't quite get run past yet if they have to read it. That's why 1st and 10 is so important, especially to a defensive team. 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, you're thinking pass, screen, draw. If it runs, you react. When it starts to be 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3, you have to do everything by the book, which means it opens up for quality players to beat you.
When you looked at this season, you looked at 2 teams, Denver and also the Houston Texans. A lot of people picked both of those teams to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Houston, obviously, as Mike alluded to, one of the most talented rosters on both sides of the ball in the NFL, and so it's a tough matchup. We failed our kind of barometer test the first week against the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning, but this will be another good test against a good football team. We'll find out where we are. We were able to beat the Browns, which is no big surprise. It was a tough game, but Houston really hasn't played all that well. They could have lost a game really 2 weeks in a row. So we'll find out where they are as a team. And, Schwab, is he the quarterback? Can he lead them in the playoffs deep into the Super Bowl? That's a question there. And the other question is going to be, will Ed Reed play in this game? So it should be interesting. Find out where the Ravens are in week 3. It's still a long season to go. Injuries, and, we'll find out if the Texans are for real.
Certainly offensively, we talk about first down efficiency, going to have to get better at that, going to have to play more of a 4-quarter type game, but their front seven, very aggressive. Again, they're going to have their work cut out for them. Don't abandon the running game, Tony, but this may again be a case where, and their secondary is vulnerable outside of Jonathan Joseph. We'll see if Ed Reed plays or not. He might not be 100%, but this may be an opportunity to take some shots for the passing game to open up the running game again. Because that, their front seven's good enough that the way we've been running the ball, I'm not so sure we can do it initially.
Yeah, I think with their passing game, they need to stay away from those short passes that they threw a lot last year in Houston. If you remember, J.J. Watt must have swatted like about 4 or 5 passes, and one of which was batted up in the air for a pick 6. So I think that's what they do with him is going to be interesting. Are they going to try to get him off his mark? And are they going to chip on him with maybe a Billy Badgman? Maybe he sees a little bit more time this week, because I think Michael Orr is going to need the help over there. So that'll be a real key matchup, I think, in how the Ravens are effective moving the football and what they do with J.J. Watt.
Bruce, from a safety perspective, we could talk about the corners, and they're going to have to at least try to take away Andre Johnson. Hopkins is still a rookie, maybe make him beat us a little bit. But with Owen Daniels, his backup as well is pretty good. Those safeties, Elam's going to be tested, Hedebo's going to be tested. We got 60 seconds. Give us your breakdown and your final score.
Big time, Mike. I mean, they are going to be tested. The entire backfield, the linebackers and secondary, like I said earlier in the program, they got to be ready to play. They got to be thinking about this. Hopefully on Monday when they went in and getting ready to do this, they got to play above their potential. And I'm going to go with the M&T Stadium. I think they still have magic there. I think it's going to be 24-21 Birds.
Yeah. I was going to go with the Texans, but if Bruce is going with the Ravens, I'm taking the Ravens. 21-20.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tight one.
I think it's going to be one of those games where it's a building block for the Ravens. They get better, but it's not going to be good enough. They lose 27-20.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tony, on that. I just think that it's a bit of an uphill battle, but I think we're on our way to getting better, but we're just not there yet. It's way too early in the season. I like the Texans 28-20. That's going to do it for us. Go Ravens, though. We're back next week. The Ravens Wrap Show, Comcast Beach TV, and 93.5 The Beach. We'll see you.
What's this all about?
We're giving Rich the NFL experience of a goal line dive.
Really?
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you could win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Can I make it?
On the internet, yes. Into the end zone, no.